Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today, we're gonna check whether you should roll on Guardian Gear, on Shisui's limited pack, or on Phantasma's limited pack. As well as checking the things that came with the update. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, let's just start with the meat and grease of this. Should you roll for Shisui or should you roll for Phantasma? I didn't mention this, but we had Phantasma's information about the weapon and the supporter here on the collection for a week now. So you could have checked it before, and they already uploaded the video to know what Phantasma is gonna do. But let's start with the one that we already know about. Let's start with Gear Shisui. What is her limited supporter going to offer? So, increases damage of familiars by 25% and speed by 10% after using a skill. There is a 10% chance to recover 4% of lost HP. That didn't sound right. So, after using a speed, you get a 10% chance to recover HP up to 80%, and the familiar damage is increased by 50%, while also increasing the speed by 10%. That's a permanent effect. Then, if it's in the main, it has an extra passive. Decreases damage taken for ally suppressed type characters by 15% up to 30%, and the active deals damage to the enemy and increases damage taken of the attacked enemies by 50%. So, this supporter is really strong, but unfortunately you might see it as niche, yet and it's true to some degree, but do not disregard it. It's very important. So, what is this offering? Basically, you use this with Shisui and she's gonna get a huge damage increase. Most of her damage, if not all of it, comes from a Guardian, which counts as a summon, as a familiar. So in that case, you're increasing your damage by a 50%. It gives you a little bit of speed, which is nice. It gives you HP recovery, just cause, on automatic mode, which is nice. If you go with a suppressed type team and you put this on the main, you're going to get even more benefit. And if you use the active, you get a very significant damage increase onto the enemy. The enemy it's like kind of the Momochi weapon, kind of similar. So yeah, this is strong. But on the other hand, you are not going to be able to use this supporter with most of the playable characters. Like Astaroth and Noah have summons, sure, but they don't rely on them too much. Maybe Sakura also use them, but this is basically for Shisui. Then, what about the weapon? When using Light of Explosion, which is the red skill if I'm not mistaken, it pulls the enemies towards the Guardian, and with each successful hit, speed increases by 3% up to 6% for 5 seconds and stack up to 3 times. That's gonna be an 18. Let's see, is that? Yeah, 18% speed increase when max out. And it also increases the damage of familiars by 22% or up to 44%. That's huge. You're almost getting, with the whole set, 100% damage increase on familiar damage. This is amazing. Let's see. Here we have Shisui. Here we have the skills. I'm going to put Light of Explosion. So as you can see, this is going to be how can I say it? A slap onto the ground, and then you're going to pull the enemy if you use the weapon, which is great. Increase the number of attacks. Yeah, it's gonna do like, I don't remember, maybe 3 attacks or something like that when you have it on full red. So it's very useful, and it's gonna deal an amazing amount of damage. And also remember that this is perfect for BR because you get the damage increase just for the skill. Unlike blue, which gives you the damage increase on critical. So this is great. It is a great pack. And probably one of the best that you could get. Then, on the other side of the... like, not on the other side of the coin, but the other option that you have is Phantasma's pack. And what is Phantasma's pack going to offer? Well, Core Phantasma is going to have two effects. Increase damage dealt to one enemy by 12% and increase damage dealt to all enemies by 12%. I am not sure how that damage to one enemy is going to work. I mean, attacks in this game have a certain AoE. It's not like they can be single target per se, even though they might be intended to be single target. If two enemies get in the hitbox, they deal damage to both enemies. So I guess that one, there's gonna be chance for the enemies to receive more damage or something like that. Even so, it is a very good effect. Both of these effects are great. They are generic. When facing a single boss, like let's say, or when focusing enemies, like Wyrm Knight, which you're always going to focus one of the enemies available. Then also Taimanin, also Queen Kanaloa, not that much, but Queen Kanaloa herself is very bulky, so you can actually move around and focus specifically the Queen. So yeah, it is a very good supporter. And the thing is that unlike Shisui, she's generic. Core Phantasma is generic. The thing is that, well, the thing. Core Phantasma is generic. It is usable for sure. It is kind of the damage that you would receive from Kawaru, but you don't have to crit. But you also only have to attack one enemy. And it is kind of awkward that this supporter doesn't offer something a little bit more busted. But if we continue to read, you're gonna see that there's another niche that this fulfills. It says, extra passive, removes one buff from 3 enemies every 15 seconds. Let's double down and it's gonna be 6 enemies. And this is excellent. Excellent for Queen Kanaloa, because you're going to be able to attack. And it also reduces the stacks of now. Very good, nice. If we didn't use her now, or well, him, now we use him even less. So, Core Phantasma is also kind of niche, but at the same time generic. Because that buff removal is not going to be useful always. But whenever you are facing Edwin, which has defense up, or Queen Kanaloa, which has immunity to either melee or range, this is going to be amazing. Then, what about the active? Launch musical notes equal to the number of enemies that explode on impact, deal damage. Damage is double when there is only one enemy. Well, I would have to see the explosion. If it's single target damage or a very small AoE, it is not that impressive. But if, on the other hand, it is a medium size to big AoE, the explosion, then that could actually be abused so that you use the explosion in front of a bunch of enemies and they all explode and they deal damage with each explosion. I don't know how this works. I guess that it's gonna be more like a single target effect, but it could be very broken depending on how it works. So yeah, this one is gonna be generic, unlike Hisui, and it has a niche on top of that against Queen Kanaloa. So I think that people are not going to like this one in particular because it is like a good effect and it's also generic, but it's not busted. So I'll have to see how you guys react and everyone reacts. I think it is not bad, but if we compare it with Shisui, she's gonna be skip. That's the issue. Then, what about the weapon? The weapon is very awkward too. So, Golden Sphere. Golden Sphere says the winds of Clinging Nightmare, which is the all green skill, pull in enemies and explode at the end, dealing a knockback attack with damage to nearby enemies. After using the skill, speed increases by 8%, which is gonna go up to 16% for 5 seconds. So I know the speed increase is very low and it's only 5 seconds, but consider this. While the enemies are being pulled into that sphere, which deals damage, you're going to be able to abuse their vulnerable state where they are being pulled, and you can just attack as fast as you can with your basics. So, what is the issue? That Clinging Nightmare didn't need a pulling effect. I mean, it's nice, but it actually didn't need it. And I'm worried about how this is going to function, because Clinging Nightmare is a sphere that it's in the middle. Let me show you. Like, I'm gonna use Phantasma. Here, I just equip the skill. Here, you know what? I think it's easier to go with a green build. Oh, come on! I don't have green because, I mean, green is strong, but even so, it's not my favorite. I'll just equip whatever, because I want to activate the colors. Like that, perfect. And let's go with the skill here. Perfect, nice. So that we can actually check it, yeah. So, what is the issue, the thing that it's kind of odd with her? I use this, no, in the basics. You see that is a cloud? Well, the center of the attack is in the middle of the air, and with the pulling effect, I saw on the video that they shared that the enemies were getting elevated into the air, which is kind of odd for a pulling effect. I don't know if that's intentional or not, if they're going to fix it or leave it, and if that provides like knock-up status. I guess not. I don't know, but that could actually, depending on how they treat it, have a synergy with Rock Band Kurenai, because she increases damage against enemies in the air, but well, I don't know how that's going to work. It's interesting to say the least. So yeah, compared to Shisui, Phantasma's pack doesn't offer broken effects. Like Shisui, her pack is basically for her, and you're gonna use it. You're not gonna use it with anyone else. Phantasma, yeah, the weapon may have a small niche. The supporter is a little bit more generic, and you can equip it with other characters, and it has a strong niche against Queen Kanaloa. So the obvious recommendation is that you go instead for Shisui, for those who do not have the weapon. It is amazing. I'm still missing one copy of this. I think I'm gonna use a Demonite or something whenever I can, because I already have this 5 out of 5. But if you don't have this weapon and supporter, go for this instead of Phantasma. If you prefer Phantasma, that's fine, that's respectable. Go for it. It's your decision, it's your resources. But just know that the objective choice, the best choice objectively, would be to go for Shisui, because you're gonna auto farm a lot. But if you go manually, if you prefer to do things manually, perhaps going for Phantasma is better. But Shisui is a character we use also to auto farm VR. It's actually the character to auto farm VR. And I only use this weapon and supporter on all her, no, not on all her builds, but the weapon, yeah. The supporter, sometimes I go blue, so I get survivability. So the supporter can be omitted, but it's still pretty strong, especially on pure suppressed type um, teams. So, very quickly, let's check what else is this update going to offer. So first of all, of course, we have Kirara. Kirara is here if you like Norse Kirara, but I do not recommend that you buy it. You know, always the price is a little bit high for what they offer. Then we also have obviously Shisui's pack if you want that for a copy of the weapon and the skin. We have a banner for Hibiki. While Hibiki is not exactly bad, I strongly suggest that you skip this one. This is like useful, not like super good, but useful for someone like Astaroth with super fast basic attacks, good mobility, and which can inflict debuffs on red. But if you do not inflict debuffs, if you have slow basic attacks, then this support is not going to be good. Like, it's also very good for Asagi, but it is one of the first supporters in the game, so it's kind of outdated. That's why I suggest that you skip it. Remember also that Little Witch 2 is coming, the anniversary is coming, so maybe you want to save those resources. Then we have, of course, the Autumn Breeze 2. So if you want these skins, they are available right now. We also have the Onigumo events. Su Jinglei's Day Off. Finally, it's here. Finally, we have the rerun. Finally, you can get the copies of Onigumo. I know this might sound like I am too excited for this supporter that doesn't give that much damage, but it's been almost 4 years without Onigumo, so of course I'm excited. So I hope that you are excited too. Let's see. Also, the campaign. We have reduced AP cost in dailies. I decided to use my 7-day potion for the Heavy Shika pack so that I can farm right now effectively. And remember to do the changes here to activate your affinity fix to get more AP for your potions, and then you go back and you start farming. Because yes, right now is an excellent moment to farm. I suppose that next month that we have the anniversary, they're going to do the normal event where they ask us to farm these points. And if I'm not mistaken, they have never done it with an AP efficiency campaign, like AP reduction, which is kind of bad because on those effects you actually want to farm a lot. So yeah, well, right now it's a good time to farm, and you will be able to farm enough points for the important rewards with your daily AP. So don't worry about spending your syringes right now, your AP refills right now, because you will be okay. Also, I almost forgot, super important. Right now, as you can see, we have Coral Cleaver here on the weekly missions. With that, we finally have the 4 copies of Vacation Murasaki and Coral Cleaver. So I will be doing a video on those like soon enough. I wanted to wait. I could have done it in the morning, but we had Machine VR and then Immune to Slow, and this supporter and weapon focus around crit and slow, so it would have been not the greatest example. So as you can see, Coral Cleaver 4 out of 5, and also Murasaki, Vacation Murasaki 4 out of 5. I mean, it's very unlikely that we receive one more copy of Murasaki. For those who do know, like seasonal supporters, which are the ones that come with these packs. Where is the pack? Is it gone already? I'm gonna go here. No, here it is. The seasonal supporters that come with these packs that give you the costume, a copy of the seasonal supporter, and the weapon, only give you the 4 copies, and they let you use a Demonite and Nano Machine to reach out 5 out of 5, which is pretty bad, but I mean, I don't think they're gonna change their practices right now. It will be great though. So, yeah, that's kind of it, guys. That's kind of it. Be sure to farm a lot this week. If you think Shisui is worth it more than Phantasma's pack, be sure to roll for her. You do want the weapon and the supporter. Like enabling easy auto farm, allowing you to auto farm VR. I mean, you can already, but it enhances it for sure. So it is a great supporter, even though it is niche and her uses are a little bit limited. Like that kind of thing that you do with it, you're gonna do it a lot. You're gonna use Shisui a lot, or go for Phantasma, whichever you want. Like I am going to go for Phantasma because I have this supporter already almost maxed out. Like the supporter is maxed out. I'm missing 1 copy of the weapon, so I'll go for Phantasma. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you find this useful, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.